Hey everybody, Cole here with Classic Mini DIY today, and on today's episode we are going to be disassembling this gearbox so that we can put the new gears in and the brand new LSD that I just got in the mail. So stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by you. That's right. Every single episode created on Classic Mini DIY is made with the help of our patrons and our long-term part sponsor, 7 Mini Parts. If you want to see more mini stuff and more videos in the future, please consider supporting the channel on patreon.com/Classic Mini DIY or by checking out some of my awesome merch like t-shirts, stickers, and all sorts of other really cool stuff at merch.classicminidiy.com. Alright, let's get back to the episode. Now, as I said a moment ago, we need to get this gearbox updated. We need to get it uprated, really, so that it can handle the additional power that I'm going to be putting on the engine, the additional load I'm going to be putting on the engine, and there's a few ways that I'm going to be doing that on this supercharged build. Now, the first thing that we need to do is disassemble the gearbox so that we can put in our extra wide helical Evo gear set. This is a gear set specifically made for mini spares. It's got extra wide teeth on the gear system here, which really adds a ton of structure and stability and strength to the gearbox and allows it to handle much more heavier loads. So, greater than 100 horsepower, which is what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for 150. For those of you who haven't heard, 150 horsepower is my target. Hopefully we can get there. Now, the other thing that we're going to be doing is installing an LSD. Now, I know a lot of you guys might be like, well, if you install an LSD, it's going to change the way that the cord turns. It's going to make it really unpleasant to drive, daily driving, things like that. Well, I have a solution for that. Let me grab it. Now, not all LSDs are made equal. And in this case, what we're going to be installing is an ATB LSD. Now, that's a lot of acronyms and a lot of letters, but basically what that means is an auto torque bias limited slip differential. And in this case, this one is made by MED, or at least it's sold by MED. I'm not sure if they actually make it, but it takes a standard crown wheel, so I don't have to get a special gear set here. And I can also keep a helical crown wheel, which is what I want, because I don't want it to be loud and obnoxious. But additionally, it doesn't use a plate, a clutch plate, like a standard LSD would. If you're picking up a standard LSD, they come with a clutch plate built into it that adds a certain amount of torque bias depending on how much power is being sent to the car, how much you want it to actually slip. And so you get all sorts of different kinds of LSDs, but all of them have the kind of negative benefit of impacting the way that the car handles when you're turning it. The whole purpose of a differential is to allow the two wheels to spin at different speeds. Now, what's in here is a cross-pin differential. That's a very heavy-duty differential, which would be more than capable of handling the power of a supercharger. However, it would not allow me to deliver all of the power to the wheels at all times. So with this LSD, it uses fluid and magic, and it delivers a different bias depending on how much power is being sent to it. I don't really understand all the logistics about it, and I don't even want to pretend like I could explain it to you guys because I can't. But the general idea is that this is supposedly going to make it so that when I want all of my power and I put my foot down, power's being delivered to the wheels. However, when I'm taking a corner and I'm, driving it a little bit more sedated, no problems, just kind of zipping around the town, it's not going to impact my steering. It's going to allow the wheels to spin at different speeds, depending on how much, oomph I'm putting into it. I'm really curious to see how it works. I won't really know until it's in the car, so at the end of the day, I'm going to have to live with it unless I want to pull the engine again, which, let me tell you guys, I don't want to pull the engine again. It's not happening again. So on this episode, we need to take this gearbox apart, get the differential out, really get all the gear set out, and I'm going to reuse the bearings because they're only like 1,000 miles on these bearings and there's really no point in replacing them. But we're going to take all this stuff out, put the new stuff in. I'm not going to cover deep how the gear set goes in. I am going to show you guys how to put the original crown wheel on this and how to preload it a little bit. But I have deep how-to guides on how to really rebuild your entire transmission already. So I don't want to bore you too much with that. But I think that's enough talking. Let's get over here and start unbolting some stuff. All right, so this next part is going to be the fun part. We are going to be replacing the original gears that I had on there with the new Evo gear set, which is the extra wide helical gears. Now, a couple things. We're going to be reusing the synchro hubs. Both of those are in great shape. Same thing for the bulk rings, same thing for the needle rollers here, and we're also going to be reusing first gear. The Evo gear set doesn't come with a first gear, and first is already straight cut, and it's going to be fine for this application. But this is a great opportunity to take a look at this. You can see that the bottom gear here is actually larger than this top one, and this top one's the old one, which gives you more strength, more rigidity, and more capability when handling the power requirements of a supercharged engine. Also, this is our LSD here. We're going to put the original crown wheel back on here. It's a 2.95 final drive, and then of course it gets a new lay gear. This whole gear set gets a new lay gear because it has to match up with the size of the new gears. So, pretty exciting stuff. Let's jump back over to the bench vise and we'll continue putting this together. If you are looking for a deep how-to on how to work on this, I did a full rebuild video on rod change gearboxes, which is what this is. You can see that linked in the top corner and in the description below.
Friendship ceases from now on. me when I'm gone. Oh, honey, though our friendship ceases from now on. If you can't say...
All right, ladies and gents, so that's gonna wrap up this episode. We got the LSD, we got the crown wheel on the LSD, we got the main shaft assembled. I'm gonna clean up my gearbox casing a little bit before I put everything back in. Just wanna make it really nice and pretty before it all goes back together because, well, we always like putting together stuff that's pretty and clean. But just a quick recap, we have the new main shaft, which has the original first gear because that is a straight cut gear. And then the other 3 gears are the new Evo gear set, which is the extra wide helical gear set. As you can see, we've got our original bearing on here, our 2 synchros, and then we have the new lay shaft that is going to be going in the car. That is ready to go in when we get the gearbox cleaned. And then finally, we have our brand new LSD, which has the original bearings on it that we just put in, the 2.95 crown wheel, and of course the differential itself. Now, if you guys have any questions about the things I did in this episode, feel free to post them in the comments section. Now, until the next episode and until I see you guys again. But that's it for today, and until I see you guys on the next episode, enjoy those minis and motor on.